Friends, this story belongs to a time when life moved slowly, when people owned little, but their hearts carried great warmth. In a quiet village surrounded by open fields and dusty roads, lived a man named Mohan. His house was small, built of mud and clay, with a leaking roof during the monsoon and cold floors in winter. Yet, within those fragile walls lived honesty, patience, and compassion. Every morning before sunrise, Mohan stepped out with his tools, walking barefoot to the fields where he worked all day under the harsh sun. His hands were rough, his clothes worn, but his spirit remained gentle. Mohan never believed that food was only meant for oneself. To him, hunger was a shared pain. If a thirsty animal came near him, he poured water into his hands and let it drink. If a stranger passed by with tired eyes, Mohan invited him to rest. Even when his own stomach remained half empty, the villagers respected Mohan deeply. They trusted his words, sought his advice, and praised his honesty. But at home, life was not always peaceful. His wife, Sunita, was practical and worried about survival. She managed the household carefully, counting every grain of wheat. Many nights, she slept with concern in her heart. Mohan, she often said softly, kindness does not fill empty stomachs. We must think of our future too. Mohan listened patiently and replied, we may be poor in wealth, Sunita, but we should never be poor in humanity. God does not abandon those who help others. One afternoon, the sun burned fiercely over the village. Mohan returned home early, exhausted from work, and lay down near the doorway to rest. Suddenly, a faint voice called out, is anyone there? Outside stood an old sage, his body thin, his steps trembling, dust clinging to his clothes and sweat rolling down his face. His eyes carried both hunger and dignity. Sunita noticed him from inside. Our food is already limited, she whispered. If we give again, what will remain for us? Ignoring the worry, Mohan rose and opened the door. He bowed respectfully and said, please come inside, Baba. You look tired. He brought cool water and placed it gently before the sage. The old man drank slowly, as if each sip brought life back into his body. After resting, the sage spoke, son, I have walked for days, I have not eaten for 2 nights, if you could offer me some food, it would save me. Mohan hurried to the kitchen. When he looked around, his heart tightened. There were only 2 small flatbreads, kept aside for his own meal. Without hesitation, he picked them up. Sunita rushed forward, her voice filled with fear. Mohan, stop, if you give this away, you will sleep hungry. That old man can find food elsewhere. Mohan looked at her with calm eyes and said, hunger does not wait for tomorrow. This man needs food now. If we turn him away, we lose more than bread, we lose our humanity. The sage heard every word, yet he sat silently, neither demanding nor pleading. Mohan placed the food before him and said respectfully, this is all we have, but it is offered with a full heart. The sage ate slowly, as if tasting not just food, but kindness itself. When he finished, a peaceful smile appeared on his face. As he prepared to leave, the sage reached into his cloth bag and took out a golden bowl, glowing softly in the sunlight. Mohan stepped back in shock. Baba, I cannot accept this, your blessings are enough. The sage smiled and said, a powerful king once gave me this bowl as charity, but gold is useless to a man who seeks wisdom. I was waiting to give it to someone. Remember, Mohan, the sage continued, karma is the truest religion. You gave without expectation, and such deeds never go unnoticed. This bowl is not meant to change your life overnight. It is a reminder to remain humble, generous, and pure. Wealth may come and go, but goodness must stay forever. With those words, the sage walked away, disappearing down the dusty path. Mohan stood silently, holding the bowl, his eyes filled with tears, not of greed, but of gratitude and faith. That evening, as the sun set, Mohan realized that true wealth was never gold or food, but the courage to help, even when you have little. Friends, remember this lesson: those who perform good deeds without expecting rewards are always blessed, sometimes in ways they understand, and sometimes in ways they do not. Never turn away from kindness. Karma always finds its way back.